name is Chef Rob. Today we're going to make some apple pie crumble muffins. These are really perfect because we're into fall now. They'll be great right through Thanksgiving, but of course apples we can get all year. I like to use a little tart and a little sweet apple, so something like a gala apple is perfect for this. But use your choice. Some people like a little sour, some people like it very sweet. Use your apple as long as it's a baking apple. So we're going to start by mixing the oil and some sugars together. Okay, so I have measured here, you can use a 1/4 cup of either vegetable oil or canola oil. So put that right in. And then we're going to put some brown sugar in. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, firmly packed. The light or the dark would be fine. I do like the light a little better. I don't want it as sweet. I don't want that too much molasses flavor, but you certainly can use it. 2 tablespoons of the white sugar. Nice and level, but always make sure you put in the right amount of sugar because that will give it the moisture and the texture. Okay. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. Very important to use the buttermilk in this. A lot of people will try to use the milk or whatever they have in the house, but buttermilk's really important to use. Try to buy it. Making it yourself, it will become buttermilk, but it's a thinner version than the one you get in the store-bought. So use this one. Let's give it a little shake. And now a 1/4 cup. And in baking, of course, make sure everything is really measured out really well. We're just going to pour this in with the sugars and the oil. And we're going to whisk this for about a minute. We just want to get everything to really come together. We want to make sure those brown sugar chunks don't kind of clump up. So really whisk it really well. And then we will just add in the egg and the vanilla extract. Okay, let's add in the egg. 1 egg. Whoop, take that shell out, of course. Okay, and now 3/4 of a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. Use the pure. Pure really does matter. Whisk this until it's really incorporated good. And then we're just going to set this aside. Okay, that is good. Just go up against the side of the bowl just like that. And just leave that just like that. Let's start on our dry ingredients. We need 1 cup of the all-purpose flour. You want everything to be nice and level. So 1 full cup, and then just kind of level it right off. And you want 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. Nice and level. We're going to put in some cinnamon. We want 1/2 teaspoon of the ground cinnamon. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which will just bring out the flavors, bring out the apple, bring out the cinnamon. It will bring out the vanilla in it. And now we're just going to get this all mixed up really well together. And just set this aside for a minute. We're going to start cutting up our apples. I am using gala apples. I do want to have 1 cup of the apples. So depends. Sometimes 1.5 apples will be enough, but they sell really small ones, they sell large ones. Just make sure you have enough. I like to chop it on the smaller side so that way it goes throughout. But if you like nice pieces of chunks of apples in your muffins, please feel free to do it that way. But make sure it's a full cup. Okay, I am just going to start peeling these apples here. See, these are smaller ones, these gala ones. These are from upstate New York, so these are a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's just start chopping the apples. Again, I'm going to chop it on the smaller side. This is going to make 6 really nice sized muffins. You can spray your pan or you can put in the little cupcake liners. Okay, either way would be fine. Make sure no seeds are in there. You're going to start preheating your oven in a second to 375 degrees, and they will take about 25 minutes. You're going to use a toothpick to see if it comes out clean. When it comes out clean, then you know it's done. Okay. Again, 1 full cup of the apple. You may need a couple apples to do this. When we get to the crumble part, which will be as soon as we finish this batter, I am making more crumble than you will probably need. But when do you ever have an apple crumble muffin that you say, I don't want so much crumble on there? So this, put all the crumble on there and you will absolutely love these muffins. Okay, so 1 nice cup of diced apple. We are going to take our dry ingredients, add it right into the wet, and we're just going to get it till it's incorporated. So get all that flour against the side of the bowl here. Once it is all mixed, we're going to fold in the apples, and then you want to put it in the prepared muffin pans. Just have a little spoon ready. Okay. 375, 25 minutes. Use the toothpick just to make sure that they are done. Put them towards the lower rack of the oven. Put a little sheet of aluminum foil on the rack above so that way the crumble doesn't get too dark too quickly. This is a really nice batter. You don't want to overmix batter because you can toughen the muffin. So let's add in the apple. So plenty of apple for this. Just gently fold this in. And when we put this in the muffin pan, then we are going to start making our crumble. At this point, you should have your oven preheated to 375 because you're going to want these to go in the oven very, very shortly. Okay, so now it's time to make the crumble. Like I said, it's going to be extra crumble, but it's always good. So you want 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Just pour this. You just need a small bowl for this. And then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of the white sugar. Do the brown sugar. We're going to take 1/4 cup of the brown sugar, nice and packed, and then 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to need 1/2 cup of the all-purpose flour. Just make sure it's kind of leveled off. Just like that. And then 3/4 teaspoon of the ground cinnamon. Like that. And now you could take a fork and just kind of mix it around till it becomes a nice crumble. And this is going to go right on top of the muffins. We'll put the batter into the prepared muffin pan in a minute. Just want to get this till it looks like a nice bakery style crumble topping. So this is pretty well mixed. Make sure all that flour along the sides here. We have nice crumbles here. If you want, and you like nice big crumbles, you can always kind of take your hand, I have some gloves on, and you can kind of squeeze it just a little bit together, and you just break off these big clumps like this, and then it'll be a nice crumble right on top. Okay? You don't want it to be wet. It shouldn't be wet. It shouldn't be sticky at all, but it should be nice bakery style crumbs. Okay, so I'm going to put the cupcake liners in the pan. I'm going to start with 6. Sometimes if you have a little too much apple, the batter, depending on the size muffin tin, you may need a little bit more. Okay, so we'll start with the 6. Just take a spoon, and I like to just kind of go around and put a little bit in each one until we fill it up. Okay, these are going to get nice and high. You want to leave enough room for the crumble. Okay. Right in there. These will freeze really well, but they probably will not make it to the freezer. So this is a nice size medium muffin pan. So you may get a few more. You can always, minis are a little hard to do with this, but you can really make those real jumbo ones as well. So I am definitely going to get at least one more muffin out of this, and possibly even two. I think I'm going to get two out of this. So again, just depends on the size pan you are using. Always, when you're doing the baking recipes, always use the exact ingredients that the recipe calls for. Like I was saying earlier, the buttermilk really does matter in this. Okay, so you can use the buttermilk, make a buttermilk chicken. There's a lot of dressings that you can make with buttermilk too. I do an air fryer chicken with the buttermilk, which is really delicious. And buttermilk pancakes, of course. So now I'm just going to evenly, now look at all this crumble here, okay, for 8 muffins. I'm going to kind of pack it right on top, okay, because I don't want it to kind of fall over in the oven. If you always want, you could take a piece of aluminum foil, just kind of put it underneath and tent it. So if anything did spill over, you're going to catch it. If not, these should just go higher, that's it. Okay, so the way I like to do this is just kind of put my hand around the tin, crumble it right on here. And that way it kind of stays off the border here, but goes right on top of the muffins. Okay, I'm down to my last apple crumble pie muffin. Has plenty of topping. We're going to put these in the oven, 375. We'll see how they look in about, I'm going to check them in 20 minutes. When you check them, try to be quick with the oven because you don't want the air to escape. But look at that topping. Does that look good? Don't forget, put a sheet of aluminum foil on the rack above. That way the crumb topping doesn't get too dark. Okay, so our apple pie crumble muffins took 25 minutes exactly. This is the way they came out. Okay, beautiful crumbs. We're going to take these, put them on a nice platter. Perfect for a brunch. Perfect for Thanksgiving. They freeze great. And I hope you enjoy these. They are very moist inside, and that cinnamon brown sugar texture really good. Enjoy these. Thank you everybody for watching.